What's going on, everybody? Pauline and Diddy Kong were just released as part of Wave 2 DLC in Mario Strikers Battle League, and these character stats are off the charts. I've made several videos about what the current meta is and how the meta is shaped, and based on my observations, these two characters are going to be absolutely dominant. There is also a new set of patch notes that I will go over in this video, and we'll have a talk about how the game feels after my first impressions. Let's start off with the version 1.2 patch notes. Additional content: added Pauline as a playable character, added Diddy Kong as a playable character, added the Planetoid Stadium, and added the barrel gear set. I will go over the characters individually and the barrel gear set later in the video. Next up, we have added features: added striker rankings to the main menu. Compete by comparing your individual ability over a fixed period of time with skill score, which varies with your performance in online matches, excluding battle friends. Finally, you're able to play ranked and climb a ladder and get rewards for it without joining a strikers club, which is something that really should have launched with the game, but I'm glad that we at least have it now. Added the following content to Strikers Club. You can now customize supporters in the stadium. Access this by going to Club Management, Stadium, and Supporters. You can now use coins to view fireworks and confetti when you score a goal or when you win a match. Access this by going to Club Management and Match Celebration. Having additional custom content is very good for the game, but unfortunately it still takes literal years to unlock everything, and they're not making it easier by adding more things to unlock. The coin rewards are just way too low to actually get anything in the game. Alright, let's get into the most important bits, which is the general gameplay changes. First off, adjusted the behavior so that CPU teammates mark opponents more quickly. I believe what they're talking about here is your CPU's ability to stick next to your opponents while they are on offense, so it'll make it easier to switch your character and get a tackle in the event that your opponent passes, because your CPUs are going to be closer before the pass ever goes off. This is a much needed change because so often on defense your CPUs will just wander off and allow your opponents to set up right in front of the goal, so it's nice to have your CPUs there so at least you have a chance of stopping the play. Adjusted the order of characters when you switch characters. I sort of understood how the character switching worked before this patch, so if anything has changed and I need to go over it again, then I'll make another video. Adjusted the charge time of perfect free passes and perfect free lob passes. I honestly was not expecting to actually get a nerf on free passes like I've wanted since the start of the game, but this is it. This is a very nice nerf to free passes. Now, they are still pretty strong because it's hard to stop a perfect free pass that is right in front of the goal, but I will say the longer amount of time that it takes from before is actually a huge difference in your ability to make plays on offense. To be fair, since it is my first day playing, I'm still adjusting to the new timing, so this may change in the future, but having a little bit more time does make a difference, and you'll feel it when you're playing a game. Increase the amount of coins and tokens you earn depending on the results of the match. They didn't increase it enough. They increased it like 10 per match. And that is still way too low to afford anything in the game. If you want to have all the gear, especially after the barrel gear just dropped, you're going to have to play hundreds and hundreds of games, which is just absolutely absurd. So I still think they should up this even more, probably even double, triple, quadruple the amount you're actually getting from matches. Change the period of time for a rule in Strikers Club, which states that a club will not be allowed to join a season if no member of a club has been online within a certain amount of time, from 90 days to 30 days. I feel like this is a step back because 90 days is a little overzealous for how long you expect people to be AFK. 30 days is pretty fair for a club, but I think inactivity isn't really a big issue at all in this game. I mean, sure, your club doesn't go active for a month. Does that affect any other clubs in your division? No, it doesn't. Just let them stay. Why does it even have to be a thing? Big one, change the number of item blocks that are thrown to the losing team at kickoff from 2 to 1 when the difference in score is 2 points. Finally, they got rid of the double item block when you get scored on. I believe this will go back to 2 items when you are 3 or more goals behind, because it says when the score difference is 2 points. I think that's still pretty fair. If you're 3 goals behind, those 2 items aren't going to bring you back into the lead. But if you are 2 goals behind and you just get a hyper strike, those 2 items can definitely just give you the lead for free, and it's because you were losing. I think that was a horrible mechanic at the start, and now it's a little bit more manageable. Adjusted the matchmaking system in online matches, so probably just better MMR matchmaking, and made several other adjustments to game balance and fixed several other issues to improve the gameplay experience. God, I hate when Nintendo does this. There are some things I've noticed in the games I've been playing, but it's all unconfirmed because they didn't actually give us any data to work with. One of those changes is I think they made Boom Boom worse again from out far. I've been seeing a lot of people running maximum shooting Rosalina or Mario builds that are just making so many shots from the midfield like they were in the first patch of the game. And I'll also say they didn't fix anything regarding how well Boom Boom will stop cross passes. If anything, they probably made it worse, but there's still a lot of testing that needs to be done, so just take it with a grain of salt. Now let's talk a little bit about the characters. Obviously, I'm going to make gear builds for each of them specifically, but I'll go over their stats very briefly and just talk about how they are going to affect the game's meta. Starting off with Pauline, her stats are absolutely off the charts insane. I cannot believe that they gave a character 20 base strength. That is so far above what I thought they were ever going to do with the character that it might even be game breaking. There are so many obvious reasons to why this is good, but the most important one is that you barely have to invest anything in strength, so you can basically put it all into speed or passing or whatever other stat you want to and still have an insanely high strength stat. She's also going to be busted in any no gear play that you do, because she is now the only character that cannot be knocked down by 9 strength characters. In fact, she can't be knocked down by 11 strength characters. I already have 3 gear builds in mind for my video on Pauline, so stay tuned for that, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. And now we've got Diddy Kong, which in some ways is a better Toad. Don't get it twisted, there's not enough difference to make a clear, decisive answer of who is better, but at the very least, any role you used to have for Toad is going to be equally as good if you use Diddy Kong instead. The only drawback is you can only have one Diddy Kong and you can have multiple Toads, so that doesn't really make a huge difference in this, but it's just worth mentioning. Now to talk briefly about the barrel boots. On first glance, they're not very impressive. They seem to be basically the same as the Knight gear is, but instead of all giving boosts to strength, the barrel gear gives boosts to shooting. There are some barrel items that are usable, like the barrel gauntlets, which gives you shooting and technique at the same time, so it's probably pretty good on Rosalina and Mario. But in general, I don't really see a role where you need to increase shooting and passing at the same time. Maybe it can be used on some Yoshi builds. However, having more gear customization is always good, so it doesn't hurt to have these in the game. I'm excited to make the gear build videos for these characters, and of course try them out online. I apologize that I haven't been making Strikers content recently, as Splatoon 3 has taken up most of my time. I did plan on coming back as soon as new characters dropped, so this makes a good opportunity to make a couple of videos alongside my Splatoon speedrunning content. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.